I thought I was the shit. I thought I was so good at the game. Hi, I'm Christine Potter-Chi. I'm the head coach of Evil Geniuses Valorant. I started off with Counter-Strike, my one true love, Counter-Strike. And I just started in the pubs. I was scout sniping, no gravity, just running around being a pub stomper, and Valorant came out. There was so much hype and momentum around it, and it really intrigued me. The abilities, just the style of game, it's so similar to Counter-Strike, but yet so different. There are three things that I look forward to in my players. The obvious first thing is the eye test. Just you can kind of see the difference in reactions and how a player handles certain situations. You can kind of tell their confidence levels and whether they're falling back, are they reacting with the proper util to stop whatever hit's coming. There's just different reactions that you can tell from a player just by the eye test. You don't even have to listen to the comms. Then comes the communication. Communication, I said was the #1 priority, but it is something that is teachable, whereas there's some things that you just can't teach. Thirdly is just the demeanor of how they handle certain conflicts, or maybe praise, or maybe even criticism. Things like this. How they handle those things will determine how coachable they are. So I think these three things are the biggest things that I looked at first. For Corbin, when he very first joined the team, he was already an IGL. He was already a very cerebral player, a selfless cerebral player. And his obvious things that he needed to work on was feeling comfortable in communicating and setting up his own teammates. He's the type of player who, the more he talks, the more successful he's gonna get. It's definitely elevated his gameplay because he's the initiator, because he's got all the utility. Just being the more open person with those command comms that says, hey, take this space, I'm droning right now, makes a huge difference. And for Jogimo was just mechanically gifted from the start. A superstar player in the making. It was just obvious. A little rough around the edges, but again, for him as well, communication was huge. For a player like Jaw, understanding where his next duel was gonna be is all he needs to get the multi-kills. I worked a lot on individually developing just that IQ in game so that each player can react appropriately when the time comes. The data that we use currently is on things like what weapons are being purchased more often, what part of the map the operator is posted on, where were his deaths. Things like this is pretty important, but I guess the most general data that we're looking at is map picks and bans, what agents are being picked the most across the board. And yeah, we just analyze that data and figure out what kind of patterns we can expect in the next series.